We've not had a chance to properly speak to you about Germany. You've had a summer to reflect on it as a tournament. I just wonder what your thoughts on it are. Do you feel that Scotland maybe didn't do themselves justice, given how well you performed in qualifying?
Yeah, look, obviously we were disappointed. There's no buttering that up. We went there with hopes, we went there with dreams. We wanted to achieve something that's never been achieved before by the country. That was what we aimed to do. And yeah, we didn't manage to do that, and we didn't. I think the games were, disappointing in different ways. Obviously the first game didn't get us off to a good start, and we were kind of backs against the wall from the very first minute. And then the second game I thought was positive. I thought it could have went either way. We could have won it. And then the last game was disappointing. We went there believing that we could win the game, and I don't think the defeat in the last game is too important, because I think the last 10 minutes was just crazy in terms of two teams just trying to not get put out of the tournament, and it was never going to end 0-0 in my opinion. But it was just disappointing that we couldn't quite break them down. So when you look back on it, we wanted to get through. Of course we did, and we didn't manage that, but we live and we learn, and we had to deal with a summer of disappointment of not being happy with ourselves, not being happy collectively. But now we move on. We've got an international duty quite quickly in the season, and now it's time to look forward.
Andy, the nation and the team sort of has won through the last qualifying campaign. Would you concede that maybe there's a little bit of a repair job to be done with some supporters for this game? And how important is this match then perhaps to get everyone united again?
Look, for us, we just want to get back on the grass. We want to put our Scotland shirt back on, and we want to try and have positive feeling again. And we've got new blood in the squad. We've got new faces around the team, and it's up to us experienced boys to try and help them as well, and try and help for what's coming up next. So we just want to get back out and playing together, and try and get the confidence back with each other, and try and get positive results. We know the fans were disappointed with what happened in the summer, but we also know that they're the best fans in the world, and I think they showed that in the summer, and I think they'll continue to support us, but we have to give them something to shout about, and that's what now our aim is. We know that we're in Group A, and we know it's going to be difficult, but we have to get back to making our home games really difficult for teams coming here, and also being tough to beat away from home, and that's what our success was built on, and we need to get back to that.
Both the manager and John Carver have said to us that one of the targets now is maybe add a bit more cutting edge to the team, a bit more of an attacking intent. Have you, as one of the senior players, spoke to the manager about how maybe you do that, and maybe what the future sort of pathway is for this group?
Look, I think that's on the manager and the coaches. I think that's their job to work out how we can progress again, but we can also help. Of course we can. The manager's very good at asking the experienced players what we think about certain situations, and I spoke to the manager a couple of times in the summer after the Euros had ended, and we discussed many things, but it's up to him to make the final calls, and it's up to him to then look at how we move forward. We've obviously got a new coach in Alan Irvine, who's been really good this week on the pitch and things like that, and an experienced head that's been there and done it, and just adding a bit more experience to our backroom staff, and we've obviously added new players and new positions, and we hope people will be excited by them. There's a few young players that we have to be patient with, but also they've got exciting careers ahead, and hopefully they get a chance to show it in a Scotland shirt as well over a period of time.
Andy, can I get you to expand on your chats with Steve? How were they? Are you both as committed as you always have been to Scotland? What kind of things were you discussing?
Yeah, I won't go into it too much. I think that's obviously conversations between me and the manager, but if we both weren't committed, we wouldn't be here. So for me, I think that tells you everything that you need to know in terms of that. We're here, we want to be successful again with Scotland, and we know that the manager and the captain can help that in a big way, and that's why we're both here again. The manager wants to get to World Cup. He's made that clear. So do I. I want to play for Scotland as long as I can. as long as I'm good enough to get picked, and you know, I'll never shy away from that. As long as I'm fit and as long as I'm healthy and as long as I feel as if I can play at that level, then I'll continue to do so. So I think that shows the commitment that we're here. And yeah, the other things that get discussed will stay between me and the manager. It wasn't anything bad. It was just, okay, what mistakes did we all make? Was there collective mistakes? Was there individual mistakes made in the summer? Was there things that we can improve? Was there things we need to maybe change? And I think we have that discussion after every camp. So the Euros was no different. It was just probably the Euros for the first time in a long time was maybe one that there was disappointment. You know, everything's been on the way up. You know, the campaign was really good and the excitement for the Euros was all in the back of our mind. And then obviously the summer it came to an end. So I think that was the first time in a long time that, you know, there was probably more negatives to speak about than positives, and that's maybe why it was different. But we just hope that we can now move forward from it, like I says, and we can have better times in Scotland shirts again instead of what we did have in the summer.
Andy, Scotland are now a team that qualify for tournaments. You're in the top tier of this particular tournament. Because of that, and because the bar's been raised, how do you compete well when you're playing against higher opposition and when you're at the big tournaments to get to the next level that you want to get to?
Yeah, and that's something we definitely need to look at. Something we definitely need to... We know that's what we need to improve. That's the next step for us, because that's us been to 2 tournaments now and we've only got 2 draws. And yeah, we've, you know, when it comes to the tournaments, we've not progressed the way we would have liked to. We had dreams of getting to the last 16 and we didn't quite manage it. So we do need to look at that, and also, you know, probably the build up to the Euros when we played the stronger nations as such, when we played England, France and things, then we probably didn't show as good a team as we can be, and we need to, and that's what we need to start doing again, but also not in the so long distant future in the past that, you know, we beat the current Euro champions here at Hampden. So, and we also beat a really good Denmark team. So we have competed against these teams. We competed at Spain away as well, where of course we ended up getting beat, but if decisions went differently, or, you know, we were very competitive in the game. So we need to get more consistent at doing it. We've done it like previously, but not all the time, and that's what we need to get better at, especially in the tournaments, because I think we've seen how ruthless tournaments can be. We've seen that, you know, a bad start can really harm you, and that's been probably both Euros we've been at now. The first games we've let ourselves down, and yeah, and then you're always on an uphill battle. So that's the next step we want to do. That's what we need to look at, and it's up to us to now try and get to the next tournament, because our campaigns have been relatively good over the last 4-6 years, and it's up to us to try and achieve our dreams of playing in a World Cup, and then we have to address that when hopefully we're at the next World Cup.
Last broadcast question, please.
You mentioned, Andy, about the hut of the summer. I think John Carver and John McGinn said the same about how difficult it was to shake. I just wonder, within the squad, do you feel as if, you mentioned the fresh blood as well, that the sort of scar tissue is behind you for this campaign and there's a fire lit under you for this new campaign ready to go?
Well, it has to be. That's our jobs. We've all had, I think if you look through the whole squad, we've all had disappointment in the past, whether that's getting beaten cup finals, whether it's relegation, whether it's missing out on league titles, whatever it is. We've all had disappointment, and I think that's part and parcel of being a footballer. We have highs, but we also have lows, and I think the summer was a low for all of us, and of course it was, but we have to then move on from it. We have to now be, if we weren't positive, then it's pointless us being here. We have to believe, and okay, we might have some doubters again within our country. You know, we felt our country right behind us in the summer, and we get that they're disappointed, and now it's up to us to try and drag them along with us again. It's up to us to try and show on the pitch that we are willing to fight, we are willing to, you know, win games, we're willing to put in the hard yards, and if we do that, then we know our fans will come with us as well, because we know they love supporting Scotland. We've seen that in the summer. We've seen so many great moments of them supporting us. I think the German people absolutely loved them, and we want that again. We felt the love in the summer, and of course we were all disappointed by the end, but it's up to us to try and feel the love again. But for us to do that. We know we need to perform. We know there's now pressure on us to perform, and it's up to us to go out and do it. And that starts on Thursday. We know we've worked so hard to get in Group A in the Nations League. It's not been easy. We've played games against Albania at Hampden in front of 15,000 people. And now, we're in Group A with, 3 really good nations. So we've came a long way, but it's up to us to now stay there, and it's up to us to compete at that level, and that's what we need to show now.